Hey guys, I'm Joe. This is my channel, Random Computes. Today I thought we'd check out this. It's a Radeon HD 6950 that I picked up off of eBay for 15 bucks. Thought we'd see what it can do in 2021. Let's check it out. The HD 6950 comes in several different flavors. This one is a gigabyte version. It's got 3 fans, decent looking heatsink, 2 6-pins. There's the back side of the PCB. If you have a 2 gigabyte version, you could flash this to a 6970 pretty easily and increase your performance by a decent amount. But sadly, this one is a 1 gigabyte version, and that's really going to hurt us in our benchmarks today. Alright, so here's our testing setup. We got the motherboard thrown on the bench. We got an i7 7700K, 64 gigabytes of RAM, the HD 6950. Everything will be ran off of a 1 terabyte SSD. And I'll be using a cheap Amazon captured card so we don't see any performance loss during our benchmarks. Let's see how she does. Alright, in all seriousness, I didn't really expect a $15 card that was released in 2010 to run Cyberpunk, but I thought we'd go ahead and give it a shot anyway. So let's go ahead and try out some games we know it can run. We got Grand Theft Auto running 1920 by 1080p, low settings. Next game up is every 10-year-old's favorite, Fortnite, running 1920 by 1080p, everything on lowest setting except for epic view distance. Don't really play this one very much, and it definitely reflects on my gameplay. But we are getting very playable frame rates. We are averaging above 60, and that's good enough. If the latest mining craze has you waiting for a graphics card, the 6950 can just barely get you by with Borderlands 3. We are playing 1920 by 1080p low settings. You could lower them just a little bit, but this game really doesn't look good once you start lowering their settings. With Fallout 4, we're playing 1920 by 1080p low settings. Causing as much chaos as I can with the Fat Man launching nukes everywhere just to get as much slowdown as we can, and we're still staying above 30. Not too bad. For Farcry New Dawn, we were running 1600 by 900 low settings. Thought I would just use the in-game benchmark and just sped it up by 3 times. Everything was going well, and we had one serious frame dip, but other than that, not too bad. Hitman ran at 1280 by 720 low. If you stayed inside, everything was okay, but once you started going outside, your frame rate really started to dip. Now here's one I don't see benchmarked very often, is Crash Bandicoot Trilogy, running 1920 by 1080p, high settings. As you can see, everything is running perfectly fine. It's very playable with this graphics card. Next game up is CSGO. We're running 1920 by 1080p, high settings. We were averaging well over 100 frames per second. This is a bot match. There's no team on Earth that needs to be handicapped by my gameplay. Next game up is Just Cause 4, 1920 by 1080p low settings. I can adjust the resolution, but it doesn't really make much of a difference on the frames per second. I think this is due to a driver issue. Our driver support ended in 2015 and this game was released in 2018. Kind of like Just Cause, Doom didn't really
change no matter how low I lower the resolution or the settings. I was able to get it up to 1080p medium settings and hold 24 frames per second. I don't know if this is just a setting that I had wrong. I do have VSync disabled, or it just could be a driver issue since this game is newer than the drivers that I'm using. And with that, this is the end of the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit like. If you didn't, hit dislike. And if you like this kind of stuff, hit subscribe. Thanks for checking it out.